Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Bitcoin report for Friday, November the 11th. We're looking at a weekly chart here and just want to have a shoot the breeze over this before we go into the intraday. Obviously this is the high here, so we can now count down as 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 here, and we'll talk about that low when we go into the daily chart. There is the case that that folks have had with an A wave here, a B wave here, and a C wave over here for a low in place. That's possible. It's not out of the realms, and if that is the case, then crypto would be finding a low wherever it comes down here. We need to talk about that, and that will clarify itself very shortly, so we could move up from that point, so we don't know that just yet. There's not a strong case. I mean, I prefer from the top here, I prefer 5 waves down. That's my preference. Right, but there is a case of having this as the A wave, the B wave and the C wave as an expanded flat for a large wave 4 here. That's possible. But the other side to this is that if from the high here we have 5 waves down here, then that means that this whole leg down here would just be the A wave here, the B wave and then the C wave over here. So opinions change in line with how the economy feels at the time and so on and so on. So I think that just bearing in mind these two particular counts in the bigger picture is the starting point. So let's go in and have a look at this situation in here and have a look at this low here and talk about that for a moment and try to understand at what point would we be able to validate that the market is going to go higher or lower at that point. So on the daily chart here, when we spoke yesterday, there was, this is where we left off yesterday. Let me just get things into perspective here. So it's possible, first up, that we have wave 3 here and 4 here, just like we've seen on the weekly chart, and then down for 1 here. And we've been looking for a move back to these 50-60% retracement level at 22,000. It was a little bit short, but it was okay. And then we had a move down here that was quite sharp down here, but it was only 3 waves to that point. So last time we spoke, we were looking at wave 4, or the last 2 times of wave 4, and then we're looking down for wave 5. So we do have those 5 waves down here now. So when we talked yesterday, we talked about this low in a couple of different ways. First of all, we could look at it with wave 4 being, well, putting this wave 4 over here for this and looking at this as a wave 4 over here. There's a couple of different combinations you could use to get wave 4 at this particular point here. If that was the case, then this 5 waves down here would be the low of wave 5 here, and that would be wave C, and then we would have a low in place at that point. There is another count here of wave 3, but it's a little bit short, so I'm not going to go into that at the moment. So we've either got a low in place of wave 5 of C, or we need to look at all of this move down here as wave 1 and going back for wave 2. If it was going back for wave 2 here, then we would be looking at wave 2 here, pulling back to the 50-60%. There's a lot of supply sort of coming through these levels here, but that's about the 61.8% anyway. So, and we would need to see that in 3 waves here. So we're looking for an ABC wave here. So if this market moves back up through here, well, then it's likely we can call a low in at this point. But if it only sort of gives us 3 waves here and then it starts turning over, well, then we would have to look at this as wave 4 up here with wave 1, 2 here, and then 1, 2 here, and then a 3rd wave, 4th wave, and 5th wave here for the 3rd wave and the 4th wave and then the 5th wave. Where that low is down here is as good a guess as any at this stage. We don't know the full fallout from FTX at the moment. There's a lot going on there that probably needs to come out in the wash, or the industry moves in and collectively sort of handles the situation or something. But this won't turn into a bull market here unless we've got a low in for the stock market. And if we going to have a low in for the stock market, that means we need a top in for the US dollar index. So you need to watch those videos as well, because they need a little bit sort of confirming. So yeah, well, in a bit of a nutshell, if the S&P 500 here can find support on 4,000 and trading above it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, right, as a first high above the level, that's not support. We need a nice pattern. There's a couple of different patterns. This is the most common pattern. This is the second most common pattern here. And this is the third most common pattern where it doesn't stop at the level here. So there's basically 3 patterns that it can occur here for that. So yeah. So anyway, we need that. We need a good support on this level up here. Otherwise, this move here with the S&P can give us an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here, and fail at that point. Right, so when this moves down here, this will be pulling back, you know, that little green wave 2 here that we were looking at, this one here. Let's just go to the intraday here at 5K should do the trick, I think. So these are the 5 waves we've been counting to the downside here. I got closer to the target than I thought I did. Anyway, as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and down for 5 here, so we can put that wave 5 here. I can see we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. It's a little bit dodgy, this 5th wave, because Ethereum is not as high, but it's a nice 3rd wave here. So anyway, it could play out as a 4th and give us another 5th wave up here. It might do something a little bit like that, but we still need 5 waves here, and we still need 5 waves over here. So how this plays out here, it doesn't look like a nice 5 waves here. So this could be wave 3 here with an A and a B and a C wave here, and then this wave 5 here actually ends up at this point here, something like that, you know what I mean? But the main point here is that this particular pattern into the 19,000 here is only a third of the way through its pattern at the moment. If it got up here on support on the 20,000, well then, you know, as a nice solid support, not just doing something like this, but that would be part of it, part of the process of developing as support. Then if the 20,000 became the support, then we could be long from that point, okay? Yeah. So what I'm thinking is this B wave pulling back and then the move up here would pretty much be in line with the S&P pulling back here and then pushing up here. And this would also be in line with the tech stocks that we're looking at. You know, all the big tech stocks and all the others and everything. So this low down here that we've got here, you know, that can be a low in the market, you know, when we look, and this would be the same for you know, for the other markets as well. So if I go to 50K here, for example, it's my bullish count here to a point. Is it? Oh no, it's not. Is it? I think it's on 20. Sorry about that. I know I've got different counts all over the place, but I like to be open-minded and stuff. But we've got wave A, B, and C here. So then we could look at this as a bit of an odd move to the upside, but we could look at it as a leading diagonal and then back. But at the end of the day, this from this top here to this bottom here, the 4,000 is a 61.8%. So if it gets support here, then it's going to move up from that point, you know, and I'll know what support looks like. I know the pattern to expect, and I'll know what trade set up to go along at that point. But if that's the case, then we're going to go up here. Well, then Bitcoin's going to do the same over here further. But in the meantime, we're only a third of the way through this particular pattern. So that's the story, really. We need some sort of B wave, we need some C wave here, and it can fail here, simple as that, and come down at this point. All of this here can be wave 1 and then wave 2 coming back here. It's an ABC pattern and then coming down again. If it gets support on here, then we can call a low in. That's as simple as I can get it. So I'm going to leave it at that. Enjoy the weekend, and thanks for tuning in. Cheers.